Imagine driving peacefully on the highway when suddenly a police officer jumps out of his car, pulls out a gun, and points it straight at you, accusing you of stealing a car worth millions. That's exactly what happened to a 19-year-old girl named Alina, who found herself surrounded by flashing lights, screaming bystanders, and a terrified heartbeat, all because she tried to do the right thing. But just when things were about to spiral out of control, a black SUV screeched to a stop, and the person who stepped out changed everything, because it was the Attorney General himself. Why did he appear? What secret was hidden inside a simple lost wallet? And how did one moment turn a normal girl into the center of a national shockwave? This is the unbelievable story you're about to hear. The highway was alive with the usual late evening rush when something so startling unfolded that everyone around froze in disbelief. A bright yellow Lamborghini Huracan, its engine humming like a wild beast, suddenly slowed as flashing blue and red lights danced behind it. Drivers who were once impatient now leaned out of their windows, phones raised, ready to capture what looked like a dramatic scene straight out of a movie. Officer Daniel, known across the department for his strict, almost intimidating personality, stepped out of his squad car with an intensity that made the air feel heavier. His fingers curled tightly around the grip of his gun as the weapon slowly rose, its barrel directed straight at the Lamborghini's window. Inside the car sat a girl who couldn't have been more than 19 years old. Her hands trembled like leaves caught in a storm. She slowly rolled her window down, her breathing uneven, her voice trapped in her chest. "Step out of the vehicle now," Officer Daniel commanded, his voice echoing across the highway, drawing even more bystanders into the moment. Some whispered in shock while others recorded, unsure whether they were witnessing a dangerous criminal being caught, or a terrible misunderstanding. The girl's lips finally parted as she looked directly at the officer, her eyes wide with fear. She whispered, barely audible over the tension-filled air, "I didn't steal it." Those words didn't just surprise the officer, they stunned everyone who heard them. And in that moment, the entire highway held its breath, waiting to see what would happen next. Her name was Alina Khan, a bright, hard-working engineering student whose life until that day had been painfully ordinary. She lived with her mother in a small apartment, took the crowded bus to her university, attended classes quietly, and worked part-time at a coffee shop to help with expenses. Never in her life had she come close to touching a luxury car, let alone driving one worth millions. That morning, while wiping tables during her shift, she found a leather wallet resting under a chair. Inside it, she saw the ID of none other than Mr. Yusuf Mirza, a billionaire businessman famous for his charitable work and powerful influence. Without hesitation, Alina called the number listed inside. To her shock, Mr. Mirza himself answered, sounding rushed and relieved. He told her the wallet contained essential documents and that he urgently needed it. His driver was stuck miles away, and he couldn't leave his meeting. Then he asked something she never expected. "Alina, could you bring the wallet to my office? My Lamborghini is parked outside. My assistant will give you the keys." She froze at the thought. A Lamborghini? Her? But he reassured her multiple times, explaining he trusted her honesty. Alina reluctantly agreed, thinking she would simply deliver the wallet and return to work. Never once did she imagine this choice would place her at the center of a dramatic police confrontation. She wasn't speeding, she wasn't doing anything wrong. Yet somehow her good intentions turned into a terrifying moment with a gun pointed at her chest. For Officer Daniel, that day had already been packed with tension. Earlier in the morning, the department had received an alert about a stolen luxury car, a Lamborghini matching the same color, model, and year as the one Alina was driving. Even more alarming, the stolen car reportedly contained confidential documents belonging to a high-ranking political figure. The entire department was under pressure, told repeatedly that any suspicion must be handled with extreme seriousness. So when Officer Daniel spotted the bright yellow Lamborghini cruising on the highway, driven by a nervous young girl who appeared out of place behind such a powerful machine, alarm bells went off in his mind. His instincts, shaped by years of training and past cases, screamed that something wasn't right. When Alina whispered that she didn't steal the car, it only confused him further. He demanded proof, demanded explanations, demanded answers she struggled to give while trembling in fear. "Whose wallet?" he barked when she tried to explain. "Mr. Yusuf Mirza," she replied, her voice cracking. Hearing that name should have helped him relax, but instead it intensified his confusion. Mr. Mirza was a respected figure linked closely with government officials. How could a teenage girl be connected to him? As the officer hesitated, traffic behind them grew longer. People shouted from their cars, some defending the girl, others demanding the officer lower his weapon. Within minutes, the situation escalated dramatically. Someone went live on social media. Thousands joined the stream instantly. And just when the chaos reached its peak, a sleek black SUV screeched to a stop, and everything changed. The door of the SUV opened, and a wave of whispers rippled through the crowd as Attorney General Cameron Salim stepped out. Known for his calm authority and unwavering commitment to justice, he carried a presence that could silence an entire room with just a glance. He walked swiftly toward the scene, his eyes sharp and his expression firm. Raising one hand, he spoke with controlled power, "Officer Daniel, lower your weapon." Now, there was no hesitation. The officer immediately obeyed, his face drained of color as he realized who was standing before him. But confusion remained. "Sir, I believed the car was stolen," he said shakily. The Attorney General didn't respond right away. He walked past him and approached Alina, who was still gripping the steering wheel as if it was her only support. "Are you hurt, my child?" he asked gently. She shook her head, tears threatening to spill. The Attorney General then turned back toward the crowd, toward the officer, and toward the growing audience online. "This young woman," he announced clearly, "is returning a wallet to Mr. Yusuf Mirza. She is doing an act of honesty that should be appreciated, not punished." The officer's eyes widened in shock. Earlier that morning, Mr. Mirza had informed the Attorney General's office about the missing wallet and the girl who found it. They had been monitoring the situation quietly, ensuring she reached safely because the wallet held sensitive documents. The Attorney General continued, "Fear and responsibility can cloud judgment, but today we focus on the truth and the integrity of this young woman." The tension dissolved as silence turned into applause. With the situation finally calm, Officer Daniel apologized to Alina with genuine remorse. She nodded, accepting his apology with a shaky smile. The Attorney General insisted on escorting her to Mr. Mirza's office himself, ensuring no further complications. When they arrived, Mr. Mirza greeted Alina warmly, his eyes filled with gratitude. He took the wallet from her hands and said, "You have no idea how important this was. Your honesty protected me from a crisis that could have changed everything." Before she could respond, he handed her a neatly sealed envelope. Curious and nervous, she opened it. Inside was something she never dreamed possible, a full scholarship for her engineering studies, covering all expenses until graduation. Her eyes widened, her breath caught, and she looked up in disbelief. Why would you do this for me?" she whispered. Mr. Mirza smiled. "Because the world needs people like you, people who choose honesty even when no one is watching." The moment was emotional, overwhelming, and unforgettable. And it didn't end there. The video from the highway exploded online, reaching millions. People praised her courage, her kindness, and her composure during a terrifying situation. Overnight, she went from an ordinary student to an inspiration for thousands. A single good deed, returning a lost wallet, had opened doors she never imagined. And as she walked out of the office that day, scholarship in hand, she realized one thing clearly: sometimes life changes not because of big